We need to open up this Ultimate Edition of Kane from the perfect time period, the Attitude Era. Very early look for Kane here. Apparently there's some issues potentially with this figure, so we'll look for those. Could be something bad, but we'll see what's good about this figure as well. And we can compare it to the Elite Series 12 Kane that came out long ago, just to see if it's a little better since it is an Ultimate Edition. But this always sufficed as my Kane in my collection. So I wasn't going to get this Ultimate Edition, but then I was like, I had a very good opportunity to get it for a good price. And I mean, it's an Ultimate Edition, so I try to hold back the purchases. But since I've really limited myself to certain time periods, I kind of want to jump on releases like this. And I feel like this figure kind of breaks the rules on some of their Ultimate Edition releases based on some of these conflicting accessories, shall we say. First, we will look at the figure. This is the head. The figure comes with default here. Very dark, the eyes inset and very dark to see. The long hair kind of coming down. We can kind of lift this up, see like his mask strap. A little bit of mask texture there. He does have the butterfly joint of the Ultimate, so he has a lot of motion in the arms. So you can do some pretty decent poses. This kind of around torso piece that the Ultimates have versus the Elite. And just big old legs. Terrible blemish spot here on the butterfly piece, so that's not cool. Quickly with the older Elite release. A bigger head, a different face, but you can see the eyes are kind of more open. So I do like the Elite look with the kind of wider eyed, but I suppose this probably is more realistic with the Ultimate that you kind of have a harder time seeing the eyes. That was such small detail with the figures. Sometimes that exaggerated look is kind of helpful, but of course we got, you know, the articulation and stuff better with the Ultimate Edition. Mostly the details are the same, except for I can see the belt on the Elite is just painted silver, and here we have like textured knobs, although sometimes they kind of miss the paint dot on them. But otherwise, you know, all the straps and things painted on are pretty much the same. One big difference will be the Elite just had these laced up boots, and the Ultimate has his actual, just like solid shiny boots. I mean, they're not actually shiny like they should be. It should be glossy boots, but they are just like no laces and stuff, so that is more accurate for the Ultimate Edition Kane. So that's the head it comes with. Looks a little bit different than the other one, but pretty much the same. The alternate head has the hair back, so you can see a lot more of the mask. So I do like this head for a very different look, and just like his hair whipped back. You can see more of that mask detail, have the ears out. Still the eyes are deep in there. And we can swap the alternate hands, kind of the open hand for maybe a little bit of chokeslam, but probably more for his kind of pyro lifting arm kind of taunt, setting off his flames. So a good choice there. We have the cape, the cloth cape. Interesting addition, but it's not something he ever used on TV. He was going to have the entrance cape, and they just were like, never mind. It just has a little Velcro thing to put on. Same kind of Kane, red, jagged, black design. So if for whatever reason you really liked the very early Kane, or he was like trying out his like Undertaker-esque entrance gear, Cape Kane. Cool, but kind of more interested in what was actually just shown on television for his character. Something like this would have been cool if he just did use it like one time at WrestleMania, but he didn't ever use it on any real like pay-per-views or anything. So interesting, might put it on like that other Elite figure if I'm going to use one more than the other, just to have that on display, because that is very unique and cool, and you can kind of say, you know, debut Kane. Which is what this attire is. And we'll get to that in a second. He comes with his buzzy Kane. So you can see like the black details in the grooves here of his little buzzy. If you don't know what his buzzy is, he couldn't talk at first. And so if he did happen to have something to say, and this is like a real life thing too, that this will vibrate their throat. If they're not able to talk, it will put it to their throat, and they'll kind of sound robotic, but they can say, you know, I'm gonna destroy you, or whatever he was gonna do. Just kind of give him like some one-liners, but kind of in a more intimidating voice because it was so monstrous and mechanical. The original Elite one came with the buzzy accessory. I should probably look up what they're really called. I'm sure it's like a voice modulator or something like that. But the original Elite one, you can see the details weren't on there. It's just plain silver. So the Ultimate Edition does have the fully realized buzzy accessory. So that is cool to pose him. Like the Ultimate can actually really pose with that voice thing to his throat, like he's like saying he's gonna set someone on fire or something. You know, the usual Kane threats like that. And then he just comes with the old Attitude Era WBF title. So again, it's like, it's confusing the time period for this. He has like his debut cape, and this is his debut attire they had for a long time. When he won the WBF title, I think he had complete sleeves, like instead of this exposed arm, he had 2 red sleeves. So if you're gonna just represent that time period when he was actually won the WBF title, this figure does not do that. Which leads me to think, you know, that's why I kind of wasn't super hyped up on this Ultimate Edition, even though it was Kane, one of my favorites in the Attitude Era. They could have either done that 2-sleeve look, or they could have done like his later attire where he kind of had some see-through extra detail in his attire. That would have seemed more Ultimate Edition to me, and I would have pre-ordered it right then, but I just kind of waited and got it for a reduced price later. Possibly reduced because there is some issues with the figure. I don't know if you noticed here, but the red arm, when he does articulate, its skin color there, and so it has like these weird exposed spots that shouldn't be right. His arm should just be all red. So it's a huge mess up. Looks absolutely terrible. But I do have the fix for this. If you missed out, could be a problem, but they were offering replacement parts. Once I saw this was a thing, relatively cheap, like $1 or $2 just to have them. So if you didn't get these, it's a real gamble if you're going to get this figure because you might have that flaw. Sure, there was later editions that possibly were corrected, but you're probably going to end up accidentally buying the one that doesn't have the solid red. But here we have the replacement arm with the red completely fixed. Otherwise I probably would have skipped this because that's pretty bad looking with the arm like that. So it does come out fairly easy with these Ultimate Edition ones, so we will swap that. Don't have any extra hands, so I'll have to steal the hand back. Let's try one of those alternate hands in here. Ooh. So here we have this, the corrected arm. It's actually in the red plastic, so all the joints and everything are correct. It's a little cheaper plastic, seems like, than the other arm. Maybe it's just the paint job or something appearance, but... Oh, actually we need to steal this cuff piece off of the other arm. Guess it didn't come with one. Didn't quite realize that was removable, but we'll put that, that's part of his glove. Then you put the hand in. Okay, now he's fully replaced there. There we go. Interesting way of doing that. The replacement stuff came with heads, so I wonder why it came with the extra heads. Oh, I see now. The one that came with here, we've got this red up here at the top of the head. That should be a complete stripe, and it ended up there, so that is a bit of a mess up as well with this alternate head. So we have wrong heads, wrong arms. Bit of a mess of a release, I guess. Even the replacement pack comes with the other head as well. I don't know if there's a flaw on that one exactly. Let me know if there was a problem with this one too, because I don't quite see. What's this new head? This is the replacement one on this side. This has like a darker hair, but I'm not seeing a huge difference. But we will replace with the corrected head. So if you didn't get those corrections, I'm not sure if there's anywhere where you can get those, but I was lucky enough to grab one when I ordered the figure as well. So, oof, it's not a good one to hunt down later because you're going to want those replacement pieces because that arm's really bad, and then I didn't notice the top of the head. Really messed up. Why did you bungle Kane's release so badly? Well, we have a pretty well replaced other than my horrible defect here. Maybe I can put a little dot of black to hide that possibly, but it's kind of hard to paint inside joints because you kind of get a little grinding in there. So it comes with a lot of cool stuff. Probably the most fitting is the buzzy, the voice modulator. The alternate hand's very good. I mean, the extra articulation's going to help, of course. But not the correct attire for WWF Champion Kane. The cape, I suppose, makes more sense. I mean, always happy to get an extra title, but I went from having no Attitude Era belts to having way too many now, but can't complain to get an extra belt. But as far as making Ultimate Editions being like of one night or one day, strictly, this Kane really skirts that and kind of covers a lot of time period because it would have been a long time before he used the buzzy voice thing, and then it was months later getting the title, and then he didn't even really use the cape, so you can include that, but I mean that's like a pre-Kane thing or something. But with that other Elite Kane, he can probably wear some of that stuff, and I can have this one with this more unique alternate head, maybe with the hair back. Just kind of looks cooler to me than the other one because it is more similar to that Elite head. Or you could even put this head on the Elite figure if you have the past one as well. Quick warning, if you are going to swap an older Elite figure, there was a time period where they didn't have alternate heads or alternate hands. So be extremely careful if you are going to do a swap. They're not just going to pop out quite as easy as you think with some of the newer figures that are designed for it. You want to heat them up maybe with a hairdryer. You can kind of boil a thing of water and leave them in there a little bit. Hairdryer is a little easier and less, wet. But with this older figure, it wasn't meant for any swapping parts. So if I want to swap the head even, I wouldn't just go at it because something might snap and break. So be careful doing swaps on older figures. If they came with alternate parts originally, then they were designed for it. And if they did not come with them originally, you need to soften them up with a little heat. But I would have liked to have it with that clear extra mesh layer, since I do have the other Elite figure of this attire already. Probably not worth a release on its own, unless they're really going to cheap out and just re-release Ultimate Kane. I mean, it was kind of a bungled release, so maybe if he came with tag team titles or something like that, or some kind of fireball thing, because Kane would like shoot fire once in a while, maybe he had some cool effect. They could kind of re-release this figure, have the clear mesh kind of detail added in. Just a crazy suggestion. But Kane in an attire like this must have for like the Attitude Era collection that I have. And I open all my Attitude Era WWF figures here, as well as like WCW from this time period. That's kind of my flashback Legends time period I like to collect and show here for WWE Mattel. So if you like seeing figures from that time period, you want to get subscribed here, get to see the next video. Kane had something he wanted to say. I will burn all of you. Kane, no, don't do that. Don't do that.